thanks for watching Luke Walks today. I'm at Sala Daeng and I'm starting with a cup of coffee at a cool little place called Everyday. So today I'm going to be exploring, this is Sathorn area, and in particular Patpong. I've heard a lot about Patpong, so this whole episode is called the Patpong Probe. So stick with me and let's probe Patpong together. So I've just been studying up. It seems to be that Sala Daeng is very close to the Legend, which is a condominium infamous because of Charles Sobhraj. So I'm going to explore that. Also heard about a Patpong Museum, so that's on the card. There used to be a very lively market around this area, but it's also world renowned for its nightlife and night entertainment. So I need to check that out as well. Now, I just read in the Bangkok Post that Silom Soi 1 is one of the most hip and happening neighborhoods around. So I might wander down there and see if I can find a nice cup of coffee or a cake or something like that, a little snack down there, because I want to be in with the in crowd. So that seems to be the place to go. Anyway, I'll finish my coffee. And don't forget, love is love. Discovered about my short time living here in Thailand is that if you've got a PA system, you need to turn it up maximum. So also it's Thailand, in Bangkok in particular, pubs and restaurants don't seem to have any trouble at having competing music. So you'll have two bars side by side and the music is just maximum, and you've got two sources of sound that's confusing your brain. But even so, the street performers take on the same approach. We've got two street performers here, and they're about 10 meters apart, playing completely different songs with their microphones at maximum. It makes it sound like it's just a horrible mess. I'm adamant. That's one thing that really grinds my gears, when there's two sources of music. Just can't stand it. So above me is Sala Daeng. Oop, thought I walked in wet paint. Above me is Sala Daeng BTS station. Now the reason it's called Sala Daeng, as I discovered in the last video, which is all about the Hua Lamphong area, the Hua Lamphong temple and King Rama IV Road and the Rama 6 statue, I discovered that this is called Sala Daeng because back in the good old days along Rama IV Road, there was actually a railway line built by the Patpong Railway organisation, company, whatever they're called, and they used to have a station at the end, and it was indeed red. So the Thai word for red is Daeng. So Sala is like a building, a building with a roof over the top. So it was like the red station. So Sala Daeng, that's where the name came from. Anyway, I'm now at Soi 1, so I'm looking for a coffee shop. I'm also looking for the Legend, the place where the Bikini killer Charles Sobhraj committed many atrocities, and it is just down this road here. So this is a really cool little street here, so if you're looking for a cup of coffee or a croissant or some popular bubble tea, there's so many of these really small little shops here selling things. So it's a nice little Soi here. I recommend a wander. So in 2020, one of the most popular shows on Netflix was called The Serpent, and The Serpent is all about is a TV series all based on the events of Charles Sobhraj, who was known as the Bikini Killer. Now this TV series was set in the 70s, and Charles Sobhraj was famous for, or infamous for, seducing or swindling travelers, backpackers who were kind of hippies on the banana pancake trail, and swindling them out of their fortunes. But sadly, he would also murder them and steal their passports, and also commit forgery and travel around using their passports as well. So he committed a lot of terrible crimes, Charles Sobhraj, and he's still alive today. He's in prison, fortunately. But the place where he moved, when he moved to Bangkok, he moved not far from Patpong, not far from here, into a condominium, and he used to meet backpackers and invite them back, and then poison them, and then ultimately kill them, and then somehow dispose of their bodies. So the place where that happened is just up ahead, I think. So I'm just on the lookout for it. It's now called, sadly, it's called The Legend. So they've knocked down the old condominium and they've built a new one, and they called it The Legend. Strange naming. So I have found The Legend. Now I'm just going to find a quiet spot where I can sit and tell you a little bit about Charles Sobhraj and this place called The Legend. Now it is actually on the corner of Sala Daeng Soi and Sala Daeng Soi 1, which is also known as Soi Gotcha. Now this apparently is the most hip place in all of Bangkok. So I might find myself a little quiet spot to talk, but also should be able to find a nice little coffee somewhere as well. So I found a coffee shop just opposite The Legend, and I'm studying up about the life of Charles Sobhraj, but also The Legend itself. Now The Legend is a 14-story condominium, and I was just looking up, the penthouse suite sold for over 55 million baht. You can also get 1 or 2 or 3 bedroom apartments here, but it's a pretty expensive place. It looks pretty flash. Anyway, I'm not here for a condo tour, although I know they are very popular on YouTube. I'm not doing a condo tour of The Legend. I'm here stopping to talk about the life and times of Charles Sobhraj. So the TV series, the Netflix TV series, The Serpent, as you see, it traces the life of Charles Sobhraj and his murders and his partners in crime. It's actually a very good TV series. I'd recommend it. The thing that I liked most about it was recreating life in the 70s in Bangkok. So it helped my imagination kind of think about what life might have been like back then. But anyway, the majority of the film was actually filmed here in Thailand, even though Charles Sobhraj wasn't entirely based in Thailand. So places like Bangkok and Ayutthaya were used for different scenes, for different parts in the film. And they even used the beachside town of Hua Hin and recreated it and made it look like Goa in India, because that's where Charles Sobhraj once was also. Anyway, this is the location where he lived when he was alive, and it used to be called Cannet House, and he used to live in room 504 in Cannet House, which was right there. So Cannet House was demolished in the 90s, and then The Legend was built in its place. Now coincidentally, the filming for a lot of the scenes in the series Serpent was based around Cannet House and the poolside area. Now that was actually filmed in a place not too far from here called Ban Belawin. It's on Sukhumvit Soi 4. So if you're really curious, you can actually look over the fence and have a look at the actual scene, or where the series was actually filmed. And in fact, I have a mate who was one of the extras, and he appeared in episode 4. So keep an eye out for my mate Ned. So Cannet House was only about 200 meters from Patpong. Now Patpong is quite a famous nighttime entertainment area where kind of anything goes. It was made popular from the soldiers who were fighting in the Vietnam War. they started to come here to Thailand for their R&R, and Patpong became one of the places, one of the strips where they used to come. Now, when the Vietnam War ended, a lot of the war veterans actually remained, so their legacy lingered on and on for a long time. So kind of it was the hotbed of iniquity there. That's where you used to go in Patpong to have all your desires and dreams come true. So this is where Charles Sobhraj used to frequent quite often. He used to go to a place called the Mississippi Queen. Mississippi Queen was one of his regular spots. So Charles Sobhraj, it's been said that he has killed at least 20 backpackers, and 14 of them, 14 of these murders were committed here in Thailand. Now, he got the nickname Serpent because of his snake-like characteristics and how he managed to escape so many times, whether it's through the forgeries of passports or he actually indeed escaped prison. That is how he got this nickname, the Serpent. He's been described as handsome, charming, and utterly without scruple. So he used to woo his victims and build and garner their trust. And then when their defenses were down, that's when he used to spike their drinks and poison them, and indeed murder them and take their money and their passports, and then dispose of the bodies. In 1973, Charles Sobhraj was captured and imprisoned after a failed jewelry shop robbery. So the robbery went wrong. So he was jailed for the first time in India. However, he was able to escape because he faked some illness, and when he was being transferred, he managed to sneak away. Now, this was not the first time. He was also recaptured, so he went on the run for a while, but then was recaptured. But he managed to, and it read here, Sobhraj escaped the same way he had the first time, by faking illness and drugging the hospital guards. He was indeed a slippery serpent, this guy. So when Sobhraj was recaptured again, interestingly, he got legal representation from a guy named Guss, and he had the nickname of the Devil's Advocate. And how he got this nickname was because he represented infamous clients such as Klaus Barbie, the Nazi, Slobodan Milosevic, and he also represented the international terrorist Carlos the Jackal. So as you've probably gathered from this story, he actually was captured and convicted, and he's actually serving time in Kathmandu in Nepal. But he's due for release in 2027, and in 2027 he'll be 83 years old. So that's actually not too far away. He had his sentence extended recently because he was involved in a some kind of a hit. He had a hitman. He had organised some kind of a hit, and he was involved in that. So he had his jail time extended. But many people in the online community are most curious and have lots of interesting theories about what may happen in 2027 when he is actually released. Now, on another note, when I was originally researching this place, I thought, oh, this is kind of quite interesting. It was a good TV series. It was engaging. I'll go and check out The Legend. However, since then, I've also watched the Netflix series about Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer. And initially, it was just the horrific crimes, but the TV series shifts focus towards the victims. And it's actually made me think a lot more about this. So I'm not here, I just want to make it known, I'm not here to glorify the crimes of Charles Sobhraj. In fact, if there was some way, I would actually be out of respect to think about the victims and honour the victims. It's kind of a well-known fact in the media when horrific crimes are kind of represented, or even suicides, that there tends to be, it seems to be a way of glorifying. But I want to make it known that in no way means, no way do I want to glorify the crimes of Charles Sobhraj, but rather make it a kind of a tale. When I was watching it, in fact, I was thinking about I was in the shoes of some of his victims, thinking, my, it could have been easy to fall for some of his tricks, being like a gullible traveller, like back in the 70s as well, when you didn't have the availability of information that we have now, didn't have things like Google Maps or the internet, so you had to actually rely on the generosity of other travelers. So if another traveler, you know, as I was a backpacker and I've done many years backpacking, when you ask somebody for advice and they say, oh yeah, you should go to this nightclub, or you should go to this bar, or stay in this hostel, or why don't you come and stay at my place, I've got a spare bed. You've got to be extra careful. It takes a lot of skill to be able to discern whether somebody is actually a swindler, or they're actually a genuine person who wants to be your friend. So it's tread with caution was what I learned through watching this. Anyway, I've had enough talking and thinking about Charles Sobhraj. I'll open up Google Maps, and what next? I am going to... I want to go to the red light Patpong district. Now, this is post-pandemic time, so it's actually Patpong is a very different kind of a place than it used to be back in the 90s, the noughties. So I'm going to have a bit of a look at it now. I am actually here in the daytime, so Patpong district, and there's actually a night market here. Of course, the best time to look at all these things is the night. Anyway, I'm going to go have a bit of a look around and see what it looks like in the 2020s after the pandemic. Sitting here enjoying my coffee, thinking about the serpent, and then a big lizard creeps into view. You guessed it, today I'm at Sala Daeng. I've even got a sign to prove it. Now just opposite where I am now is one of the best ice cream shops I've ever been to. Guss damn good ice cream. It is the best ice cream in all of Bangkok in my humble opinion. Here. It's right on King Rama 1 road and Sala Daeng Soi 1. You'll know it because it's got this really cool mural here by Joker EB. I love it. And the reason this one is here is actually because it used to be a cinema, like an independent cinema right here. So they've taken out some of the most famous cinematic scenes from Thai cinema, the cinematic classics, and it's depicted here in this street art, this mural here. So I'll get some closer images of this really cool mural here. Actually, this is really a how to create a good movie visual guide. You need the pretty lady, bit of romance, bit of chaos, the chaos scene depicted here in blue. Of course you need a fight scene. You need some explosions as well. Some kind of a vehicle crash. This one's got it all. It's got the plane, got a car, got a truck, and a motorcycle. So it's got all the action scenes rolled into one. Need the handsome guy, the lady that's pretending to be interested but not really interested in the handsome guy, and a little bit of a kung fu scene there as well. So if you're a screenwriter and you're stuck for some ideas, just come on down here and you'll realize what's missing from your film. thanks for watching. If you're new to my videos, thanks for watching Luke Walks. Just be aware that I'm new to Bangkok. I've only been here about 2 years. So my videos are basically a discovery kind of a video. So I'm by no means an expert. So if I pronounce things incorrectly or make a few mistakes, just be aware that that is the learning journey that I'm on. So discovering and sharing is what this video is all about. So Soi Thaniya, I'm in the Silom area and I'm exploring this. Soi Thaniya is the first soi I came to from the Rama 4 road, and it has a distinct Japanese flavour, so much so that they've even got a Donki coming soon. Anyway, I'm going to continue down Silom Road and see what else I discover. So just so you're aware, my videos this is season 2 of Luke Walks, and I'm doing a focus on Bangkok district and Patpong district, which is famous for Chinatown. Now this series, season 2, is coming to a close, so after this season I'm going to do a few more of the major cities and around Thailand, like Pattaya, Ayutthaya, Chiang Mai, but I'm also going to focus on some of the festivals as well. So that's coming up in season 3, so festivals like Songkran and Lᴜධᴇ. Now this is Silom Soi 4, and it is the place to visit, always has been, perhaps always will be, the place to visit if you're a man and you like men. So this here is a famous club here in Silom. It is called Circus in Soi 4, and they have a lot of performance. Now I'm deliberately here in the daytime because you can't really, I'm not the kind of person who's going to walk around and filming people who don't want to be filmed. So when you come to somewhere like the red light districts, cameras are not really welcome. So this is a G-rated tour of Silom Soi 4. But yes, this is the place if you like boys, if you're a boy and you like boys. Sorry, I didn't mean boys as in underage boys, I meant men who like men. Yeah, let's say man power. If you're a man and you like man power, this is the soi for you. So this dark and mysterious soi is the soi where the famous Patpong Museum is. Now this Patpong Museum is kind of a recent addition to the Bangkok landscape. So it's only been open a couple of years. So from what I've read, it's the place to go to learn all about the red light district and the Patpong area. So I've just got to find it. So in the 2020s, Patpong is not quite like it used to be. There's a lot of places that are really closed. I mean, I'm here in the daytime, but you can see they've actually shut down. They're no longer open. But there are a few remaining that survived the pandemic. We've got Dream Boy Bangkok, which is still open. We've got Paddy Field. The Paddy Field is still open. Down here we've got Dream Boy. It's still open. Hot Mail, Fresh Boys. I think you're starting to get the theme of this street here. Anyway, this is the soi that Patpong Museum is on, and there's plenty of places to go if you like to party. And don't just remember, this is not just what the ground floor. If you look up, there's quite a few places on the second floor as well. Here's a bar that's open. Might be time for a beer. Cool down. So this is a kind of a common sight around Patpong, the nightlife district now. A lot of closed places, which back in its heyday, this place was all teeming with life and activity at the night time. But now, it's a very different story. So Patpong got its name from the owners of this block of land. So the land here was purchased in 1946, and it was the enterprising son that decided that they could open up a couple of bars and restaurants. The son, who had this idea, he actually spent time working with the army and working in the US. So he had a kind of a firm grip on what Westerners kind of look like, and he got some ideas from the West that he incorporated into this area. It was he who actually, so this whole property was owned by that family, and he actually created Patpong Soi 1, made an actual road, built the road himself, and then lined it with the bars and the nightclubs and things like that. Then they created Soi 2, Patpong Soi 2, and then Patpong Soi 3. So this land in the early days was actually attracted a lot of businesses because of his business connections. This was the headquarters of a lot of kind of important foreign companies. And to cater for these foreigners who were working here, he opened up some bars. There were some bars and things that were introduced. So this is where they worked, and this is where they partied as well. But soon enough, the party industry kind of overtook this area, and the businesses moved out. And then it became a full-blown entertainment district in 2004. It was declared, there's some special entertainment zones declared by the BMA, the Bangkok Metropolitan Authority. So this was one such entertainment area, which has certain rules that other places don't. For example, this place here, they can stay open, I think it was till 2 AM. So 2004 was when that was declared. Now there was also a night market that was introduced as well. So we'll go and find the night market, but I don't think the night market survived the pandemic. So with regard to the red light districts in Bangkok, there's Patpong, which is where we are now. There's also Soi Nana and also Soi Cowboy. There are three special designated entertainment zones where if you're into that kind of thing, that's where you can get your needs met. So it's pretty evident. There's actually a lot of construction going on here, a lot more beautification. I think the Silom area and the Patpong area is kind of easing their way out of that red light district reputation, because even the footpaths now is a lot more neat and tidy. And in fact, there was a certain turning point where this area here used to just be clogged and flooded with loads of street markets, food vendors and things like this. But then the BMA actually put in a rule that said you can't have any street food along this road, because it was just causing way too much congestion, traffic congestion in the area. But now they've taken it even much further and really tidied up the street. It's actually a really respectable neighborhood. But then again, I am here in the daytime. And speaking of respectable, I have been offered a lot of massages so far. Hello, mister, you want a massage? So Patpong can be, is famous for many firsts in Bangkok. Patpong area had the first ever 7-Eleven. And if you fast forward to the 2020s, 7-Elevens are absolutely everywhere. So this is where the first one was. Also in Patpong, this was the first, the place where they had the first ever go-go bar in all of Southeast Asia. Patpong has also had the first pizzeria, Italian pizzeria called Grand Prix. And Patpong also can claim that they had the first ever Japanese restaurant in all of Thailand. Actually, I made a mistake. As with learning about a new place, you make mistakes. So Grand Prix was actually the first go-go bar, the name of the first go bar, and Madrid was the first pizzeria in this area. So I've stopped at Shenanigans, a well-known Irish pub here in Patpong, for a quiet shandy to cool down and to rehydrate. Anyway, the nightlife here in Patpong used to be the #1 place in Bangkok for all your entertainment needs and desires. You could get all your wishes and desires met here. But when Soi Nana and Soi Cowboy started to be discovered and started to grow, a lot of foreigners were attracted to those. So less and less people started coming to Patpong. So it kind of lost its popularity, or perhaps it's just the way things are. You know, that people are often looking for the newest and the latest and the best places to go. So nightclubs very rarely, they certainly have a shelf life. So this whole area, Patpong, is kind of it's gone past its use-by date now, and it's not the happening place that it used to be. There's a lot more other entertainment areas around. Now, it really was dealt a crushing blow during the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, when things got shut down, and there was a few establishments that tried to hold on. They kept paying their rent for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, but very few had the resources to actually survive the pandemic. So there's loads of vacant shops, pubs and restaurants around the Patpong entertainment zone nowadays. Anyway, there's a little bit of a parallel with the Silom night market. This used to be a really busy and popular tourist spot here, the Silom night market, because you get all your counterfeit goods. You can get your CDs and your DVDs and your fake Gucci and Louis Vuitton stuff. But the BMA kind of tightened the screws a bit there. So first of all, they put a shutdown on all the food vendors around. So that kind of removed a fair bit of that hustle and bustle. But then a few more other things that happened in society, and one is that counterfeit goods, there was a bit of a tightening of the screws there. It wasn't really good for Thailand's public image to be selling so much fake stuff, so much so out in the public. But also with the onset of online shopping, a lot of things can be purchased online nowadays. So with Lazada and Shopee, so people are doing a far more shopping online than they used to. So that also was like a crushing blow to the Silom night market. And then of course, similar to the nighttime district, when COVID hit and markets were this whole area was completely shut down, the shop vendors had to find another. They tried to hold on for a little while, but then they just couldn't survive. So a lot of the shop vendors have had to find other sources of revenue. So that night market sadly is no longer. In fact, there's not many night markets around in Bangkok. A lot of them have shut down. So that nowadays the best one and the most popular one seems to be Lᴜྡᴇ, which is the railway market at Shenanigans, and it by far is my favourite night market. So that's the best place. If you're looking for a night market, that's the one to go to. Sadly, a lot of the other ones have shut down. Anyway, I'm going to finish my refreshing beverage, and then I'm going to go to the Patpong Museum. I was just fascinated by the Patpong sign just over here. So I was filming it, and the boys in front told me it's over 30 years old, that sign, and the top kind of ornament fell off. He said it's very old. I said I like it so much. He's like, yeah, very historical, very important sign, but we need to fix it. He said, you're tall, man, you can fix it for us. I said I can fix it, but I need some glue and tools. Like, okay, next time. Feeling a bit loosey-goosey. Just had a couple of pints of refreshing ales at the Shenanigans, and now walking down Patpong in search of the Patpong, the Patpong Museum. That's where we're going next. Oh, here's my friend. Everyone thinks I'm here for a massage because I keep touring around. No, thank you, I go to the museum. This guy, he's asked me about 20 times if I want a massage. I reckon he probably thinks that I'm one of the guys who kind of secretly wants the massage but lacks confidence, so I keep walking around the block. So he keeps approaching me. Anyway, the Patpong Museum is just around the corner. I'm going to be there shortly. So this is Madrid restaurant. This is the first in all of Bangkok, the first pizzeria. And sadly, it actually just closed a couple of months ago. Now, just further down here, this is Patpong Soi 1. Further down here, that white garage door there, that was the first ever 7-Eleven. Now in Thailand, there's over 11,000 7-Elevens. But the original one was just there. Now, a little bit further down here was Air France. That was one of the big businesses that first arrived. And then it was also where the CIA had their office here. So these streets here was kind of, with the bars and stuff like that, was where a lot of the CIA people used to meet and talk, and it was all during that time of the secret war in Laos as well. So this down here, this white building right there, that was where Air France was, but also was the home of the CIA before it was the CIA, and Air America also. That features quite prominently here in the history of Patpong. Now I plan to learn a little bit more about this, and I need to go to the Patpong Museum to learn more and more about this. But it all happened here in Patpong Road. Arrived at the Patpong Museum. Happy here. I'm about to enter, and I don't know what I'm in for. But we'll see what we find here at the Patpong Museum. Maybe a bit of this. So Patpong was famous for having ping pong shows, and in the Patpong Museum they have the silhouette of a lady shooting ping pongs from a ping pong shooting machine. I'll let your imagination fill in the blanks. So I moved to Bangkok during the COVID pandemic, and one of the restrictions because of COVID was they put an end to soapy massages. Anyway, there's a video here that actually shows you exactly what a soapy massage is. I don't think I can show it on YouTube. So this is Sobhraj area here. Here's a map of where the victims sadly lost their life. And that was the Kentint house, so we visited early in this video. As you can see, he dumped some bodies in Pattaya, and here are some newspaper clippings as well about Sobhraj. And they're playing the Netflix series as well there. I'm actually a big fan of a diorama. I love a museum, and they've got the best Patpong diorama here. So you can kind of wander around. I do remember coming to Patpong years ago. I remember seeing this. You'd walk down the Soi. I can't remember which Soi this is, but you'd walk down the Soi and you'd look up and you'd see this overpass area with a glass and the girls were dancing. That's a vivid memory in my memory. And we've got the next Soi, Kiss. Kiss is where we walked past before. So I was walking back and forth this Soi before when I was doing some videos. It's a really good diorama of what it looked like back in the old day. So this facade is still there in Patpong. I got that on some video earlier. We've got the Kiss, the Super Girls, the Tip Top restaurant. Air America, that was one of the main features here in the Patpong Museum. I'm next in line for the guided tour. So I'm actually just exploring on my own now. Oh, what's this? here in the David Bowie section. He travelled to Patpong, and so there's a whole wall here focused on when he visited. It's actually quite a good museum. I would recommend it. It's actually quite well done. There's Apocalypse Now section. There's the Deer Hunter, which used the Mississippi Queen to find one of the ladies and shoot some of the scenes. Apocalypse Now is represented as well. Actually, it's a good museum. It's definitely worth coming and having a look. Again, back with the Charles Sobhraj the Serpent, I don't want to kind of celebrate human trafficking or anything, or the red light district, but just it's an observation. So I'm here in Thailand, in Bangkok. I've been here 2 years, and I'm soaking it all up. I'm just an observer, and so this is what I've found, and I actually don't know what to think about it all. Okay, so the story goes the Grand Prix was the first go-go bar, and it kind of found a loophole in the rules. The rules were basically you need a special entertainment license to have like live music. But they found the loophole in the rules, which was basically they only had a jukebox and they had go-go dancers. Now the go-go dancers weren't by definition entertainment, they were just people dancing. So when the authorities came to crack down on this, is this an entertainment venue? They'll say, no, there's no live music, just people dancing. Just so happened to be that the dancers were dancing scantily clad and on stage with poles. So thanks to the Grand Prix, who started the go-go scene, it then was copied and copied and copied, and Patpong kind of grew to infamy from there. So here's a necklace of ears. Now this section here is all about Apocalypse Now, and Apocalypse Now was a movie that was based on the novel called Heart of Darkness. Now Poe, he was a ruthless character. Now there's nothing ever been established that Apocalypse Now and the ruthlessness of some characters there has any association with Poe, but they have an uncanny similarity. But these ears here, this was how ruthless this character Poe was. That he needed some evidence, wanted to collect some evidence of some of the criminals that have been murdered, that have been killed. So anyway, I'm not going to ruin the whole story for you, but it's disturbing. A good museum challenges one's mind. Now this section here, Apocalypse Now, talks a bit about this character called Poe, P-O-E. Now this section here is the most disturbing one for me. And it's going to it's challenging me actually. It's going to make me think for a while, and that's actually the purpose of a good museum. If you've ever been to a good war memorial or whatever it might be, it's not just a tourist experience. You walk out of there and you think a lot more. Now, this Patpong Museum is actually a very good museum for that sake, for that point. So the curator has done a good job. It's actually making me think a bit, and it's challenging me a fair bit. I'm thinking about prostitution, I'm thinking about the war, I'm thinking about some war criminals, thinking about pornography, I'm thinking about corruption, I'm thinking about a lot of things, and that's the sign of a good museum. So if you're coming to the Patpong Museum, the one thing you must do is get the guided tour. Guided tour shares a lot of information, and again, there's some disturbing information about the secret war in Laos. Yeah, that one's Air America, the CIA involvement, and yes, this is a big penis behind me. So to conclude, the Patpong Museum is definitely worth a visit. Make sure you get the guided tour. It actually is really well. It's a very small space, but it's actually well curated. That you get some art, you get some information, you get a bit of history, and it's fascinating the history, which is basically how this place started with the Patpong Udon Patpong, starting with the building the Soi 1, the first street, Patpong Street, and then big businesses coming in like Air France and before the CIA was known as the CIA, they moved in as well, and then catering for their needs with bars and things like that. It's a really well done museum. I really actually recommend it. I've learned a lot, and it's actually made me think a lot as well. So as I say, that's a sign of a good